Barry Bryson here. Thank you for joining me for another 5 good minutes with the Word. We're continuing our study of the first Psalm as a key to understanding Hebrew poetry. And last time we were together, we talked about comparing and contrasting and keeping in balance through comparisons and contrasts. Today, we want to talk about the repetition of themes, which is a structural rhyme. And we're going to use some of the same things that we've used because some of the same images that provide balance and comparison and contrast also are repeated and are enhanced in the repetition, and that's another way that they use rhyme. Um, you can chord in progression and use chords to make a tune, um, and this is music, and language is music, even if we don't have accompaniment. And this is another way that the language of the Psalms are the music of the Psalms. So I want to talk this time about the repetition of words or themes in the Psalm. So let's read Psalm 1 again. How blessed is the man who does not walk in the counsel of the wicked, nor stand in the path of sinners, nor sit in the seat of scoffers, but his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law he meditates day and night. He will be like a tree firmly planted by streams of water, which yields fruit in its season, and its leaf does not wither. Whatever he does, he prospers. The wicked are not so. They are like the chaff which the wind drives away. Therefore the wicked will not stand in judgment, nor sinners in the assembly of the righteous. For the Lord knows the way of the righteous, but the way of the wicked will perish. Okay. One of the things that I didn't point out yesterday in terms of balance, but I want to point out today, is that in the first, there are clearly two sections, verses 1 through 3 and verses 4 through 6, in balance with each other. And in each section, um, the word Yahweh is used once. And and the first section, and they're both connected to knowledge. They're both connected to knowledge of God. In the first section, um, our delight is in the law of the Lord. We know and meditate on the law of Yahweh. In the second section, Yahweh knows the way of the righteous. So in the first verse, there is um, um, the knowledge of God that we can have, and the other is the knowledge of God being the knowledge that God Himself has. So this is a rhyme, a repetition of a word, of a name, Yahweh, a repetition of an idea connected to that name, knowledge, and yet the development or the different shade um, connected with that thought and that word together. We know God through His Word. God just knows us and responds to us according to His absolute knowledge of us. So it's that which we're talking about. Um, the whole notion of standing, and again, we're not going to exhaust from this psalm everything we can pull out in terms of this kind of rhyme for any of these categories that we're talking about. But we'll give good examples. So in the standing, we have standing in both, and like we have the knowledge with the righteous and the wicked in the first half and the second half, we also have standing um, in the first half and the second half. But this is about standing um, in terms of its association with sinners. So we have the standing repeated in the first half and the second half. In the first half, we have the wicked person standing, and in the second half, we have the wicked person not being able to stand. And so it's a comparison and a contrast, but a repetition, and it's therefore a rhyme. And the difference being, the lesson always lies in the difference. The difference being where you are. In the first verse, the wicked man is among sinners. And in the second half, he will not be able to stand in judgment, nor sinners in the assembly of the righteous. You know, you you don't fit. You've made a different choice and you don't belong with this group. And it's not because you have been destined, it's because you've made your choice. You started out walking a certain path and then you stopped and then you plopped right down. Well, guess what? That's the choice you made. And at the end of that road, you belong one place and not another. That's a rhyme. Um, and we have the repetition of the plant imagery. That's a rhyme. So just the repetition as being part of the structure of the psalm and part of the rhyme scheme of the psalm, and a way by which we ascertain the many, many, many lessons of the psalm. Okay. We'll talk about another rhyme scheme next time. Thank you for joining me for 5 Good Minutes with the Word.